I'm not ashamed of it. Cars don't define us. Sizes of congregation don't define us. Is it good to have a crowd? If the crowd know what they are doing, it's a good thing. But sizes of congregation don't define us. Otherwise, Jesus was a failure.
I want us to look at the response of Abel Damina to Paul Eneche and Pastor Ibiyomi. Look at the response. I want us to dialogue on it. Let's look at the point he made and we analyze it. There are some things that we are going to be pointing out. I want you to just pay attention, and also please, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. You can share the video as we make progress. May God bless you, and let's watch the video. I'll be back.
They are made with what? Okay, we are all resolved.
They brag about houses. They brag about ministerial success, to be congregation size, to be cars, estates, money. And they say because they have all of that, me, I don't have that, I'm a failure, and they're a success. So their definition of ministerial success is based on material acquisition. And they forget that Jesus said, beware of covetousness. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of things that he possesses. I feel like I'm teaching now. A man is not defined by car and a house and money and clothes. The disciples of Jesus, who we are copying in ministry today, did not brag about cars, did not brag about jets, did not brag about houses, did not even brag about the sizes of their congregation. The only thing they brag about was Christ. Christ is our treasure. That is what we have. And if a man of God who is supposed to be happy that he has Jesus is not satisfied with Jesus, is defining himself by car and house and money and all of that, he is too carnal for anybody to model him. He is far from the truth of the gospel, and is a bad model for ministers of the gospel. If I'm teaching, say I hear you. Look at it. Luke 12:15. Let me answer him a bit. Luke chapter 12 verse 50. PJ, read for me.
And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth.
Give me the message of that Luke chapter 12. Message translation. Message.
Speaking to the people, he went on, take care, protect yourself against the least bit of greed. Life is not defined by what you have, even when you have a lot.
Life is not defined by what you have, even when you have a lot. The disciples of Jesus did not brag about what they had. Look at what their joy was. Acts chapter 5 verse 41. The joy of the apostles who gave us the gospel, our models in the Bible. Look at their joy. Read for me, PJ.
And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name.
They were counted worthy to suffer shame. What shame? They were persecuted for preaching Christ. I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, brother. I'm not ashamed of it. Cars don't define us. Sizes of congregation don't define us. Is it good to have a crowd? If the crowd know what they are doing, it's a good thing. But sizes of congregation don't define us. Otherwise, Jesus was a failure. Because in one day, thousands left him. Paul, at the end of his ministry, everybody forsook him. But yet he says, I have fought a good fight. I have finished the course. And there's a crown of righteousness kept for me by the Lord Jesus. So crowd don't define us. Shoes don't define us. Cars don't define us. Estates don't define us. Listen carefully. That is what Satan offered to Jesus. In Matthew chapter 4, he offered to him houses and cars, and Jesus rebuked him. And what Jesus turned down is what preachers today are flaunting as ministerial success. You can tell where the church is exactly. In 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 3, look at it. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 3, PJ. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 3, read for me.
If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Jesus Christ, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness.
Anybody that plays down on the doctrine of Christ. Next verse.
He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings.
He is proud, knowing nothing. Next verse. Verse 5.
Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself.
From such pastors withdraw yourself. Don't listen to them. They have nothing to offer you other than greed, avarice, and the doctrine of Balaam, which actually is measuring a man's value by material things.
Now, two things I want to point out from that video, and I want to talk about Abel Damina and Paul Eneche and Pastor Ibiomi. You see, first things first, like I said, I will always tell you the truth when someone is saying the truth, and I will always point out errors when we see one. Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. This is just my own humble opinion about this issue. You see, coming to Pastor Damina, he is right. The response he gave is actually correct. What he said about bragging about success and cars and houses and crowd and all those things is correct. What he said about disciples of Jesus, the modeling of Jesus' idea behind Christianity is correct. Because that is not the goal. I've said it before. It's not about success. It's not about money. It's not about cars and crowd. The Bible said that narrow is the way, that it's a few that will find the way. Narrow is the way. So which means it's not about the crowd. If the crowd is there and they're not born again, they are not righteous, they are not going to make it to heaven, it's useless. The aim and the very aim of the gospel of Jesus Christ is to save people, is to save souls, is to preach about Jesus. Jesus is the way, Jesus is the truth and the light, and that's what we are following. That's the bedrock of everything we are doing. So in that regard, Apostle Damina is very, very correct. You know, like I said, I told you before, I don't hate him. I see his doctrines, the ones that he's saying that is wrong, I'll point them out. The things that he's saying that is not correct, it will be pointed out. Yes, he's a man of God, he's ordained, he's preaching. But when you are beginning to preach and you begin to go astray, you know, we'll have to point some errors out as human beings, and people have to comment, and if you dislike it, it's part of the game. It's part of what we're doing. It's part of the work we're trying to do in this channel. So, on the other hand, Damina in question, Pastor Damina brought this thing upon himself. Yes, if they are calling him he's a failure, he is not doing well in the ministry, he is claiming that he ordained somebody that he did not ordain, he is claiming to be bigger than a person who is bigger than him, they are calling him all those names, is because he chose, and I repeat, he chose to be fighting every pastor who is doing well. To be honest, it is none of your business. Your own is to focus on the flock that God has placed in your care. Your calling, your job is to focus on who and the people that God has placed in your care. Take care of them, feed them. The Bible said, Jesus said, feed my sheep, which means feed the people God has given to you. It is not your job to be correcting every pastor, to be correcting every apostle who is doing well. It is not your job, because at the end, God will know. It's God that will judge everybody and know who is doing the right things and who is doing the wrong things. That's the only place I am against Damina, because he comes up and he condemns what other preachers are preaching, and he said they don't know what they are doing, and he's trying to be the one that knows everything by himself, which is wrong. That is where all these issues started from. That is his own error for this issue to have come up in the first place. Is because he's the one who first started tackling all these men, started calling them out, started saying all these things he said in the first place, that now they are responding to him this way. That's the second part. And that's what I'm saying about Damina. Damina has to relax, focus on what God has given to him. Those that believe in him, he has a lot of people following him. He has a lot of people that believe in his doctrine. He should focus on them and teach them and preach to them. Yes, what he said about bragging about Jesus, and that's the truth. You cannot brag with worldly things as a man of God. You don't need to brag about house, about cars, about crowd, about all those things. Most of those crowd are they all going to heaven? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. You have the crowd is there, but how many of them will make it to heaven if today the trumpet is blown? Because it's not about the crowd. Most of them are Yahoo boys, they are criminals, They are defrauding people, they are killing people, ritualists in church, and all and on and on. But they are in church. They are in church. You understand? Everybody's packing themselves there for what reason, or one reason or the other. But the point and the question is, are they going to make it to heaven? If no is the answer, then it's worthless. So he is completely right, and I like the response he gave. And I want you to also drop a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think about this. His reply and what he said and how he responded to this man of God. And what do you think about men of God bragging with the crowd, bragging with success, bragging with cars, bragging with wealth, bragging with money? Is it supposed to be so? The answer is no. To me, it's no. The call of God is not about the crowd. It's not about how many people in church. It's not about how many cars you have. It's not about how many houses you have built. It's not how big your church is. I've always said it. Last time I made a video about a pastor talking about money, and people were like, "You don't know anything. Your small knowledge will kill you." People are saying all kinds of things to me. But the point is that the goal? Is that the plan of God? Is that what God has established the church for? Drop a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think, and let us dialogue. I really appreciate your time for watching this video and sticking by. May God bless you. Please, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, share my videos, and let it reach other people. May God bless you. I'll see you in the next one. Remain blessed and bye.